All right, you guys ready for your next comedian? And everyone's like, oh, please, let's go. Please welcome King of Queens, Sex and the City, Craig Gass. And I walked out on stage, grabbed the mic, and just went, thank you. Looked in the crowd and went,
Our next guest, usually here to promote a show in Philly, but he's in Jersey, and he's at the new venue at Hard Rock Casino, and that's the Howie Mandel Comedy Club. And ladies and gentlemen, our good friend is back in town. He's performing tonight through Thursday. Craig Gass!
hey! Excited to be here.
Happy to have you.
And excited to see this brand new comedy club in Atlantic City. By the way, I am really moved personally by what you just did in the last hour by having a minute of silence. That was really a cool move.
Well,
and,
we do it every year, and only because you need to, and we appreciate that.
Did anybody work in comedy?
I'm so glad you brought that up.
For a stretch after that?
When you talk about the smoke, there's a couple clubs that I worked at in Greenwich Village where there was smoke going through the neighborhood for a couple weeks.
Wow.
That was coming through that neighborhood.
That's not that far.
It's not that far. And in fact, there's one road that you stand on, one comedy club, where you look straight down, you're looking right at the World Trade Center. And then if you turn around and look uptown, you're looking straight at the Empire State Building. And now this half of it's gone.
Right.
But there's smoke coming through. And people always thought, like, oh, it must have been tough to do comedy because of that. And this is the truth.
Yeah.
When you're on stage and there's smoke coming through that neighborhood from those buildings, you could not get a laugh unless you talked about what happened. You had to talk about it. It's just like in anything else with comedy.
It's a release.
If you acknowledge what's going on in this room right now, it's like, Steve will tell you that if you follow somebody who either crushes or bombs, you have to acknowledge it.
Right.
And that's the best way to, like, I remember doing a show in Las Vegas once at the House of Blues with Norm Macdonald. And this MC walks up to me on the side of the stage and goes, hey, what's your name? And I go, it's Craig Gass. And he goes, what do you want me to say? And I go, hey, whatever. You could do, Sex and the City or King of Queens, whatever. Yeah. And he goes, all right, cool. I'm nervous. And I go, yeah? It's a big crowd. He goes, yeah, man, it's my first time. And I go, it's your first time in front of a big crowd? He goes, no, I've never done comedy. And I go,
oh, God.
Oh, boy. How did you get on this show? He goes, oh, I work here. I'm a bartender. I've always wanted to be a comedian, and I'm a bartender here at the House of Blues.
Oh, my God.
And actually, when I saw that Norm Macdonald was coming, they announced it like 6 months ago, and I campaigned, and all my friends that work here are like, you got to make Fred be the MC. Fred, and,
for Norm Macdonald.
For Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
It's 1,800. It's sold out. 1,800 people. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm really nervous. And actually, a bunch of guys who work at the House of Blues took the night off to support me, and I went, and you haven't in the last 6 months since you got the gig, you haven't hit an open mic? And he goes, no, this is it. And I went,
oh my God.
Well, good luck. And he walks out on stage and eats it so hard in front of 1,800 people that include 20 or 30 of his friends. And at one point, in the middle of complete silence, he makes the rookie mistake of saying, well, maybe you had to be there. And a guy in the upper row of the upper balcony goes, maybe you're not funny! And the place explodes with its first laugh.
Oh, my God.
And even Norm Macdonald, who's one of the nicest guys in the world, walks over. Or he loves to, like, rip on people. And even Norm Macdonald walks up to me and goes, man, I feel bad for this guy. hey, don't say anything. I feel bad for this guy. And I go, all right. But and I
you
was
had
like,
to.
You had to. And I didn't say anything. Yeah. He said, all right, you guys ready for your next comedian? And I was like, oh, please, let's go. Please welcome King of Queens, Sex and the City, Craig Gass. And I walked out on stage, grabbed the mic, and just went, thank you. Looked in the crowd and went, that's it. I'm not going to be
No. That's what I needed. Yeah.
And it's the same thing. After September 11th, you're on stage. You're not getting any laughs if you're talking about, like, hey, my girlfriend. You
ever try to hail a cab?
Yeah. And you know who was destroying back then? I saw a benefit show at Carnegie Hall. The lineup was Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Bill Cosby, who wasn't a rapist yet.
Yeah.
Bob
was, but no one knew.
Was, but he was probably raping somebody at night.
Yeah.
Okay, so he probably raped Chris Rock and Jerry Seinfeld that night. Bob Newhart.
Wow.
Will Ferrell. Jerry Seinfeld, Bill Cosby, Chris Rock, Bob Newhart, Will Ferrell is the host. Colin Quinn opens the show. Colin Quinn steals the show because he talks about September 11th. He walks out and said, you ever have one of those guys who keeps putting themselves in the middle of September 11th and they had nothing to do with it?
Right.
These guys would be like, if I was on the N train that morning, I wouldn't even be here. Really? Did you ever take the N train? Nope. But if I did that day, yes, I wouldn't be here. And he destroyed because he acknowledged it. There was a lot of media that weekend. I was supposed to perform on September 14th and 15th of that weekend. I was supposed to perform at the theater at Madison Square Garden with Robert Schimmel and Bobby Slayton. Bobby Slayton, listen, Bobby. You want to talk like Bobby Slayton? You got to talk like this. Just a couple words at a time. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry. But the show got canceled. Both the shows got canceled. And Stuttering John was doing a show down the road here in Atlantic City.
From Howard Show, yeah.
From Howard Show. And Stuttering John said, hey, can you, since your show's not happening, my show is still happening.
Right.
It's turned into a benefit show for first responders. Will you come down? And I said, I would love to. So I came down and did it, and I performed at what turned into a benefit show. They had water jugs out. Like at work water jugs that people put coins in, and they said, we're raising money. You can make donations. People filled those water jugs with $100 bills. There was tens of thousands of dollars in each one of these water jugs.
It's crazy.
I go back into the dressing room after this show, and I'm hammered when someone says, "Hey, Donald's here," and I said, "Who's Donald?" They said, Donald Trump's here. And I said, oh, okay. And Donald Trump walks in the room to say hello to all the comedians. And there's a bunch of members of the press. I am begging for anyone who was there that night to please contact me and come to the shows this week at Howie Mandel's and at the new Hard Rock. Because what happened was something that was so easy to research on the internet, and it got scrubbed. You can't find a single photo. And there were hundreds of pictures of this on the internet at one time. So Donald Trump walks in, and the guys in the press say, hey, Donald, you want to take a picture with the comedians who raised all the money tonight? And he goes, sure. And he walks over and starts saying hi. And then someone says, hey, this is the new guy. This is Craig Gass. And I go, hey, Donald. And I'm hammered. Yeah. And someone goes, hey, why don't we you want to get him to hold of the bottle jugs, the water jugs? Let Donald. And now they've handed these two massive water jugs full of cash to Donald, which kind of paralyzes him a little bit. It's a very awkward pose, and he can't move, and he's holding tens of thousands of dollars. And I'm looking at him, and I go, hey, I got a picture. How about one of me on my knees for the money? And I got down in front of Donald, and I grabbed his hips and just started.
Oh my God!
I just started, pantomiming
fellatio.
Fellatio. And Donald can't move, and he's standing there like, hey, and there were hundreds of pictures. You could hear everyone just started laughing. And you could.
You need that picture.
All you had to do was Google Craig Gass, Donald Trump, and you could find hundreds of images. And now it's been scrubbed from the internet. And all those members of the media were right here.
Sure. Yeah.
They were right here and in Atlantic City. Please contact me.
Hey, just have that over your fireplace. It'd be pretty cool.
Wouldn't it? Yeah.